Hello everybody. Today's webinar is entitled Using Mobile and Web Applications to Unlock the Full Potential of Your Salesforce Investment. We are lucky enough to have two presenters today. The first is Michael Meisels from Salesforce, who will be showing you the power of Heroku Connect. He'll be followed by Mikel Lindsaar from Reinteractive, who will be going through a few use cases that have been built using Heroku Connect. So I will hand you over now to Michael Meisels to get you started.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. On behalf of Michael and myself, we'd like to thank you for giving up an hour of your time, and hopefully you'll find this a very useful webinar. What we would like to do is cover off today is how a lot of our customers today have Salesforce as a CRM, using that to understand who their customers are and provide a single view of their customers throughout their business and how they engage with them. What we would love to do is introduce you to how Heroku can run all of your apps, your engaging experiences, your websites, and to maximize your ROI with Heroku and Salesforce so that together you have one single central view of your customer that you can better engage with. Now, if you've joined us before on any type of webinar, conference, etc., you'd be very, very familiar with this forward-looking statement. As Salesforce is a publicly traded company, one thing that we really do value is trust. And with trust comes a number of rules. So throughout today's presentation, I doubt either of us will be talking about any future features that would be coming up in our current releases. But if you do make any buying decisions based upon this webinar, please make them on current release, not future release functions. This can be read in detail on our website. So today's Heroku journey is going to start off with a quick introduction from myself and Michael, and then we were going to jump straight into talk about the scenario that we have and how we can actually help organizations engage better with their customers. After that, we'll take you on a quick live demo of how a typical solution could look. For example, a customer using a mobile app or a website running on Heroku, and how the business can actually start to engage and understand that customer in more detail. And Michael will take us on in terms of use cases, how in your own organizations today, you can start to benefit from some of the things that you're already doing, such as having applications running out there on the internet that your customers are already engaging with. How as a business that you can start to utilize that information and drive better interactions and better engagements with their customer. So as a quick introduction from myself, I'm the Heroku Lead for APAC. I've been with Salesforce for 3 and a bit years now, starting off as a platform solution engineer, moving into looking after the Heroku business for APAC. I work with a number of customers from 1 person all the way up to 1,500 employees, and we've been helping them to engage and build applications that they can connect better with their customers with, but utilizing that data so that everyone in the business can fully understand who the customers are and to have a better relationship with them as they go on.
Thanks, Mike. And my name is Mikel Lindsaar. Thank you very much again for joining us for this webinar. I'm the CEO and founder of Reinteractive. We're Australia, Asia Pacific's largest Ruby on Rails focused development agency. And we're a leader in integrating Salesforce with custom software solutions. We work very extensively with Mike and his team of account execs around Australia and overseas to make sure that our clients, our mutual clients, can get the maximum benefit of their data and really get a high ROI on their investment in Salesforce and in their mobile, web apps, and other applications. So yeah, I'll be talking towards the end of the webinar about use cases, but for now, I'll hand you back to Mike and he can go through an introduction to Heroku Connect and then give you a nice demo.
Thank you. So multiple people have probably seen a slide like this before, where most organizations are trying to transform and put the customer at the center of what they're doing. And whilst they try to engage with customers in across different channels and different connectivity devices, where they start to slow down, where they start to have issues in that engagement layer, is about trying to get information into the hands of the people who have that relationship with the customer, who have that engaging experience, who have that connectivity in a unified way. Now, a lot of organizations today would start to look at each of one of these, from an e-commerce solution through to a connected portal, to a marketing campaign or journey, to how you actually sell to a customer, how you service the customer, how you connect with them, how you provide them a nice trusted relationship throughout their experience with you, and how you actually can maintain them as a customer rather than looking elsewhere and what they can do. At the heart of what everything we do is the information that we have from a customer and how we utilize that information. And in today's world, we're in a very siloed world where this information is collected, it's stored into silos, and then the business has a hard time of really understanding who this customer is. And so the engagement that you have and the information you have to share with the customer becomes quite hard. But as we've moved on, we start to build other ways that we want to engage with the customer. So we have websites, we have mobile apps, and we have connected devices out there that are all acquiring information from us and providing us that connection back to the customer. Whether it's a way that someone can have a presence out there on the website, provide them information, or try to change that dynamic and add a new dimension to it where they can actually log on and have a personalized experience. That personalized experience is only useful if you actually fully understand what the customer is and what they do with you. And so you can actually tailor that experience to offer them better information and better insight into how they're moving forward. We then move on to the world where organizations start to move from the idea that they've got a website out there and they're starting to create that personalized experience with the customer and move into the world of creating an engaging experience on the mobile phone. We all use mobile phones and apps today, and we use that as our center of way that we can actually connect and engage with an organization. So why should that be any different from the experience that we try to offer our customers through the mobile app? Why should it be disconnected in that way? Why should the information that we collect or the experience that we offer be any less personalized through a mobile app as it is for the website that we spent a lot of time investing into? And as we start to move on to devices that are intelligent, devices that can offer different experiences without a human at the end of it to provide that personalization, what they actually end up doing is just becoming dumb devices as part of that. And so in order to have that connected, personalized, intelligent experience across all of those, they have to be built upon a platform that can not only handle the scale that you would love to go to, but be able to master that information centrally to connect to all of your engagement channels. Now, I really, really love this quote because it brings back to the fact that what we all do as an organization is we spend a lot of time thinking about what we're trying to do and what we're trying to deliver back to the end customer, back to the end user. But what's really true and what Jez Humble has clearly stated in one of his books is that software delivers no revenue into its hands of its users. So how can an organization do both? Deliver an engaging experience really, really quickly so that they can actually start to master and get out there their brand and their awareness out there in the marketplace, but also at the same time be able to deliver new updates a lot quicker through there so that you can actually deliver revenue back into, so you can actually deliver more value back into the hands of its users. Now, the users doesn't stop at our customers. It also incorporates our internal users, the people that have to sell and service to our end customer, the people that have to use this information to drive better interactions, better decisions. And with that becomes a complexity of what we have to offer from that engaging experience with the app to how we actually get that information back into the hands of the business. Now, if we look at the app and the complexity that we do, all the things that we have to put into an app today, such as the ability to recognize and identify customers, whether from a name and address point of view, or from the ability to have a single sign-on, to make things more productive, to give people access to the information across whatever channel they want, but also be able to engage with them in the way that they want. So, for example, if we take the typical ride app that we all use today on how we actually move forward, not only do we want a quick and easy way to call a ride and engage with a ride, but we want some personalization in there. We want to be able to sign on quickly, on board quickly, but also be able to have the understanding and the preferences of what we want, such as what's my last favorite address, what's my last favorite place I've been to, but also be able to have that trust across my information. And what a better platform to invest the trust into in a company such as Salesforce that has invested in trust for the last 18 years and has ensured that all of our customer information is successful and is held as securely as possible. And then there's other information that we want to generate off that, such as real-time information, such as where is the person, what are they doing, how can we engage with them at that point in time to make it more successful. So that stream of information that changes so frequently, how can we actually reach out to that person at that point in time and have a more personalized, fantastic experience with them. And with that real-time stream of information becomes the complexity that we have with elasticity. So with all of this information streaming into our apps, streaming into our business, how can we as a business ensure that we can scale successfully? How can we ensure that we are able to deal with as much of information, but also be able to offer that more personalized experience and ensure that we can offer them at the right time and the right point, the information that they need to drive forward. And once we've ascertained and collected all that information, Joe's provides us with another fantastic quote, that continuous delivery of this information and this functionality also helps us to lead a deeper relationship between IT, the business customer, and their final customers. So rather than running as a siloed business now, rather than running as different business units, all operating off your own speed and off your own agenda, how can we invest as a business to not only improve our relationship with our end customer, but also improve our relationship with our internal customers and our internal colleagues, to have a deeper relationship where we're all part of the same team, providing the information and adding into our understanding of the customer to drive better outcomes. And so with that comes the Salesforce platform. It provides ability to create customer-facing applications, mobile apps, engaging experiences that can scale to hundreds of millions of transactions that we require in order to be able to offer the best experience ever for the end customer. But at the same time, whatever we collect or what information we collect from the customer, we want to be able to provide that in near real time back to the business so that they have a better understanding of that customer in order to drive better marketing decisions, better marketing campaigns, on-the-spot push notifications to the customer to inform them of the next offer that we want, but also be able to drive a trusted view of that customer back into our sales and service processes. And for our executive teams, be able to provide a central reporting tool that not only looks at what we're doing today and what we're doing now, but also gives them the temporal view to report on how well they're succeeding. And Heroku doesn't stop there just at engaging experiences. It gives you the ability to start to monetize that customer information that you have in Salesforce. So not only by having a one-way sync from your engaging apps that you're running on top of Salesforce, but to also do the bi-directional feeds back to the app. So not only can you start to collect information from the customer, but you can actually start to give information to the customer about what's going on from the processes that you built in Salesforce. And it also provides a nice, elegant solution for the Salesforce core platform. The ability to provide high data storage, high data volume of archiving of information that you're collecting. So information that might not be readily valuable at this point in time and that you've collected over time, it provides a nice way for you to store that information and recoup it and bring it back at the time you need it. So with that, what we thought we'd do now is just to take you straight into a live demo, so to give you a good understanding of how all this fits together and a quick scenario.
And while that's happening, if there's any questions that anyone has, please feel free to ask and we will bring them up as they come along. So Mike's going to switch over to the live demo here. So type away your questions and then we'll be able to see them and I'll be able to bring them up as we go from there.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to start our journey today with a fictitious company called Fix Coffee. And being in Australia, we all love our coffee so much that, you know, it's our daily hit on, or if you're like me, multiple times a day where you need that hit. So we start off on our Fix Coffee company app. Now, this is an e-commerce solution running on top of Heroku. And what it gives is an engaging way that someone can come into here, purchase what they want, and have that delivered to them. So for example, Rachel comes in, she logs into the app, she always wanted the AeroPress coffee maker, so she goes and adds that to the cart. Most organizations today, when they start to think about how they offer their products online, they always start to think about the end customer solution and being able to deliver that outcome. But they rarely start to think about how they can start to onboard customers and understand who their customers are. So you get a registration box, you may get a checkout as a guest box, but what generally happens at this point in time is that you lose the ability to create that personalized experience. So Rachel, chooses the easiest option ever. So she checks out as a guest, doesn't choose to create an account, but starts to fill in the form that she wants. Completes the address, chooses the right country. And this is a problem that's no different to any other website or other e-commerce solution you've got. And she'll go through the process quite quickly. She'll make the payment she wants. She'll come to the final confirmation slide, and she'll complete that. But at that point in time, the business has lost the opportunity to fully engage with her. Whilst that information is going to be fed from Heroku into Salesforce, you've lost the ability to provide a single authentication method, a single sign-up method. So Rachel goes ahead and completes that process. She signs up, she gets the coffee delivered, and that order goes through. Now, as that data is being fed back into Salesforce, the marketing campaigns that are tied to her new onboard, the new customer processes are kicking off. Rachel receives an email that Fixed Coffee have introduced this new fantastic mobile app. Now, this new mobile app, Rachel comes into the mobile app and goes, oh, that's excellent. I don't have to go onto the website anymore. I can go onto my app and I can sign up. As she signs up, again, she's presented with username and password box and the name, but she can also now log in with her Facebook account, a quick and easy way to onboard as a customer. We all go to websites today and we have social sign-in, which allows us a quick way to use our Facebook credentials, our LinkedIn credentials, to onboard or to sign up as a user or as a customer. Now, when Rachel signs up, she didn't have to complete a form anymore. That information was picked up from her Facebook account, her name, her email address, etc. And in near real time, that information has been passed across to Salesforce to kick off any welcome emails, any marketing journeys, or any campaigns that she wanted. All of the information is coming across that we've collected. So we have a Facebook ID, we have her email address, but that's all we really have. We've got the address from, we've got her address from the order that she placed with us. So we have a bit more information of how she works, but recognizing the email address that she signed up with to the email address that's on her Facebook account, we were able to link those records together. Now, Rachel, no matter what she does now, whether she signs in with a Facebook account on any of our websites, any of our digital presences, would always have a link back to this record. And from the business, they will always be able to understand what's going on. Now, Rachel's just signed up. She's got 0 points at the moment with Fixed Coffee, but she can go into her profile and start to tell them a bit more about what she likes and what she doesn't like. So, for example, she can come into here and say, I'm happy to receive SMS messages because I really love to know when my coffee order's ready or when my product's being released or sent. But I'm also happy to, when I enter one of your stores or any of your coffee shops, you can send me a coffee order. So using proximity from the mobile app to recognize where she is as she enters our store, we can send her a push notification to say, did you know we've got a new offer, or it's happy hour, here's $2 off a coffee. She can also start to tell Fix a bit more about what she likes. So her favorite drink is long black, and she loves the African coffee beans, they're her favorite. But setting those preferences not only gets stored inside of that mobile app for her to use and for the app to use, but it also gets synchronized back into Salesforce. To tell Salesforce about that information. So we know she's at the most basic loyalty level because she's just signed up. Her favorite coffee beans are the African coffee beans. Let me just expand that a bit. And we know about her contact preferences. So more importantly, as those contact preferences are now held centrally, any processes that kicked off it, so any marketing campaigns, any conversations from the customer services team, they all respect her contact preferences about coffee vouchers or SMS. So we know not to send her any emails before because of that single profile that she's got now across the business. We know what her favorite drinks are, so we can give her offers that are relevant to her. We can onboard her in marketing journeys that are relevant to her. So as she comes back into the app and goes to today's specials, she gets special offers that are designed around her preferences. So for example, 2 kilos, if she buys 2 kilos of her favorite Kenyan coffee beans, she'll get 1 free. And so she can think that's a fantastic idea, that's a fantastic offer. She's also got friends out there that love those African coffee beans as well. And so she can collaborate and share those with her friends on Facebook, on Google, or on Twitter. So she can broadcast those offers out. If she wants to, she can also save that to her wallet. By adding that as a wallet, we know that's an offer that she likes. We know the offer she wants. And so we can remind her about that offer at any point in time. So if she walked past a coffee shop, we know she wanted that offer. She knows those coffee beans are what she wanted. We can send her a push notification to say, by the way, this store has those coffee beans in stock. Come and get your offer. And if she comes to redeem that offer, she gets a QR code that's personalized for her. That personalized QR code can be scanned at the point of sale, and it's attributed back to her record that we know that was a fantastic offer, and we know it's an offer that she liked. Using her access, she can find all of the stores nearby. So if she's close to one of the coffee shops, the fixed coffee shops, she knows where she needs to go go and collect that coffee. But everything that's happened inside of the app typically would be held in a very siloed way, and the business would never be able to see that information. Everything that we did inside of that mobile app is now viewable inside of Salesforce. So anyone who came into her record, or any type of reporting, or any type of analytics, or any type of marketing journeys that are built on top of this information, knows that that offer that she wanted was one that she liked and she added to her record. So let's just say that she never redeemed that offer. Let's say she added it to her wallet, but she never redeemed it. She forgot that offer was there. Wouldn't it be fantastic if we could prompt her and inform her that that offer is still there for her? So based upon this piece of information that we've collected, we can add that back into the core business's processes, onto that marketing journey to say, in 2 days' time, if she doesn't redeem that offer, let's give a push notification to her to inform her that offer is still there. Or what about send her a promo code to say, you know what, we know you're busy, we'll actually post you that. So we'll give you free postage and delivery to purchase that offer right now. Now, throughout that time, it doesn't stop at the special offers. It also comes from all of the other products that Fixed Coffee does. So if we look into all of the products that they have, all of this information can be delivered into the mobile app. So for example, she needs a new coffee press, she can add that to the coffee shop. And as she starts to engage with us more and more in her app, as she starts to share things and collaborate with things, not only can we reward her for being a really good customer and buying products from her, but we can reward her about how she engages with us and how she actually broadcasts Fixed Coffee to her friends. So if we go back a second, when she shared all of those offers on Facebook and Google and they were redeeming those codes, we actually gave her points and rewarded her with points. So not only does she get points for buying stuff from us, but she actually gets rewarded for actually being one of our ambassadors as part of that. And so she moves up the status. Again, that information comes back into her profile. And as she moves up the various statuses, and we can send her more personalized information, we can change the look and feel of the app. And we can inform her that she's now moved up to the next level of an espresso member as part of that. So that whole experience is delivered from inside of the app, but using the information that we're collecting throughout. Now, all of those campaigns that we did and all those special offers we did was not designed in code. It was actually delivered by the business. So someone inside of the business team actually put that offer together. they turn that idea into an offer inside of Salesforce. So all of that information is there. But what happens if, for example, we run out, or we only allow that to be for the first 100 customers that redeem that? It's very simple. Instead of actually, having to run a job so that data goes into another siloed product, we can actually use the information to be bi-directional. So, for example, someone in a business team can easily come into here, deactivate an offer, mark it as completed, save that, and that information will go back. That information will go back to the app, and next time she goes into today's specials, the offer's gone. So we've only got those 2 offers now. And then if we wanted to rerun that offer, we can come back into here, put it back on, set the date that we want it to be running from. And again, that can push that offer back onto the app. And our offer now appears back for the app to come back on. So not only are you building an engaging experience that can scale, but you can start to collect customer information and offer that personalized experience, but you're using the information to drive better decisions inside of the business. Not only can you build the offers, build the campaigns from inside of Salesforce, which the apps pick up, but you can also work out what's successful and what's not successful from the offers to understand which customers have accepted that. Now, what happens about all of that large volumes of data? So we've got lots and lots of customers out there that have gone onto our website and purchased coffee orders. Well, all of that data doesn't have to sit inside of here. It can sit inside of our data warehouse. It can sit somewhere else in a database, even on Heroku. And what we're able to do is we're able to bring back that data, all of those orders that were placed over time, at the time as needed, but without having to worry about massive volumes of data being stored in Salesforce. So not only can we associate all of her information, but we can also associate all of that transactional data that she has, all of those orders in one place. So next time that Rachel comes into the app, and let's say something happens and that coffee machine doesn't turn up, she can come into here, she can log the case. She can submit that. And then any of the customer services team who would have actually accepted that case or actually seen that case come through would actually be able to have not only the information about how they can contact Rachel, how they can send her an apology via SMS and not email, but they can also start to see all of her orders to see where the orders was and when did it go out. And so they can work on that case and respond to Rachel and give her the right service level that she needs. So we know Rachel is now one of our espresso coffee members of how well she's created her loyalty with us. We can now have a trusted view of her to say we can actually respond to her and tell her where that offer is or where that coffee machine is and start to send on. Any questions on the chat? Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to hand over to Michael, who's going to take us through some of the use cases for Heroku and what we've seen out there with some of our customers.
Great. Thanks very much, Mike. That was quite a thorough demo. The power of Heroku Connect really is only limited by your imagination in terms of what data you can get from what clients and when it becomes available. So what I'm going to do now is go through some of the use cases, but before I do that, I'm just going to give a quick summary of what Mike just went over. So Heroku Connect is a connection system that exists between the Heroku custom software platform and your Salesforce instance, and allows you to have full two-way synchronization between those two applications, as you saw in the demo that just occurred. As soon as someone clicked a button on the mobile app, that data got synchronized up into Salesforce, which was allowing you to trigger whatever you wanted to be able to trigger. So it gives you that full integration, no missing data. It gives you that single source of truth between your mobile apps, your web properties, and your Salesforce instances. Allows a very effective way to monetize customer and business intelligence data by enabling you to trigger based on activities and actions from the customers. allows you to federate data back to your Heroku app, which reduces your Salesforce data usage. Mike didn't touch on that very much, but for example, say you've got thousands of users logging into your application. You're not necessarily wanting to store every login attempt in Salesforce, but that data is still valuable. So what you can do is within the Salesforce instance, you can create a federated view or an alternate data view, and that will then pull the data direct from Heroku, and that data gets stored over on the Heroku side. So you can drill into it whenever you want without having that as part of your Salesforce CRM data allowance. It also allows integration to third-party systems and internal data silos, which makes all data available. So one of reinteractive specialties is making systems talk to each other, and we can help clients with a legacy system or the like, which needs to talk up to Salesforce through our Salesforce Connect service. It removes the need for complex coding around data synchronization. So if you do build in a connector into Salesforce, your software developers need to deal with the issues of retrying with network outages or latencies or API limits and all that sort of thing. Heroku Connect removes those problems because the data is directly inserted for you, and that's all just handled. It obviously provides your Salesforce systems with the most up-to-date information available. So your sales or service cloud team, when they log in to do a service request, can see that the person was just recently logged in on their mobile app and just recently made an order, which allows them to be a lot more interested and real to the customer, and also gives them the tools they need to be able to deliver the correct level of service for that client. And obviously the opposite is true. If you build your mobile platform on top of Salesforce and Heroku Connect with Heroku, it lets those apps also be up to date. So when a client logs into their mobile app and they go to the services page, they'll be able to get the full detail of what their most recent interaction is with your service department and the like. So that's a brief summary of Heroku Connect in terms of the features that we believe are very valuable to our clients. And these are the key drivers when we're helping a client come up with a solution around this platform. Now, I mentioned something called Ruby on Rails a couple of times, and I'm just quickly going to explain what that is. So basically, Ruby on Rails is a rapid application development platform. It's really a native citizen on the Heroku platform. It was Heroku's first supported software development stack. They do support others now, but Rails still maintains a very dominant role in that industry. And what Rails allows you to do is create your software to be effectively pixel perfect, as Mike likes to say, which I think is a great term. You can make your software be exactly what it is you want with no compromise. So it's a 100% custom development solution, but it is built in such a way so that the common functionality between all websites is shared between the applications, so that you don't have developers building out tools like database access or PayPal integration and things like that. All of that stuff is open source and available. There are millions upon millions of software libraries which we can take advantage of, which reduce your development time and mean you have a much faster time to market and lower development and maintenance costs of the application moving forward. I firmly believe there's nothing else out there that can develop the majority of business web-based software as cost effectively as Ruby on Rails, especially when you're looking at the total cost of ownership, maintenance, upgrades, and ongoing feature development. So we've actually written a small book on this called Why Ruby on Rails, and we will be sending a copy of that, a hard copy of that, to every webinar attendee. So at the end of the webinar, you'll get a survey. It asks for your postal address, put it in, and we will send you a free copy. Why would you use Rails as opposed to something else when you're developing on top of Heroku? Well, the primary one is a rapid business application development. And this allows you to create a prototype product and continually enhance it all the way up into production and beyond. There's no need to take a prototype, throw it out, and start again. Another major benefit is that the same code base can be used for both your web-based application and your mobile apps, reducing your development cost massively. A lot of mobile applications don't need to be written 100% in the native stack to begin with. Instead, what we can do is we can build the common functionality between the web and mobile apps and then expose that with different views on both, say, an iOS and Android app, which are both downloadable from the App Store as well as the Google Play Store, and act as a native app, but pull all their core data from the central web app. That obviously also gives you the ability to use the Heroku Connect data, which then synchronizes everything and moves from there. The other advantage is that you can, once you have that common architecture, you can then selectively replace different screens in the mobile app to be 100% native, taking advantage of things like proximity detection or navigation or other internal APIs on those mobile platforms. Another key point is it is a first-class Heroku language. It's one of the most supported on the platform, and it fully integrates with Heroku Connect without any further development or coding required. There are millions of open source free software libraries for speed of development, as I mentioned before, and it's an excellent choice for data integration due to its focus on high testability and security. The vast majority of the clients that we work with have some sort of integration requirement with some other platform, and Ruby on Rails and the Ruby programming language, which underlies it, is very good at this sort of text communication between systems to make sure that those systems stay in synchronization. And most importantly, it's able to be customized to meet all kinds of business requirements. Basically, whatever it is you need to build, we can build it. So to go through some use cases, I'm going to go through 4. I'm not mentioning any client names in these use cases, so unfortunately I will be talking fairly generically. But if you have any questions about what I'm discussing, please do let me know, and it will come up and we'll discuss. And I'll either answer it then and there, or I'll answer it towards the end of the webinar when we have a little bit more time. So without further ado, the first one I want to talk about is a point of sale integration system. So this was a client that had a situation where they would have client events where their clients would come to their event and go over the products that they'd bought and get them fixed up, validated, verified, all of this sort of thing. And the point of sale system that was built was designed around the idea that the client arriving would come in and they'd show them their products and they'd go over them and look at them and make sure that they were still up to standard, fixing anything and reviewing it. Now, before the Salesforce Heroku Connect Rails solution was implemented, they would do this all by paper. And a client would come in, they'd pull down the first name and last name. The client was obviously in a rush. They wrote down their email address and there'd be inevitably a typo in it. And they'd only really get 1 or 2 of the most recent products that that client had, because the client really was bored on the point of having to enter every product they had every time they arrived on a paper-based form. Obviously, that's not a great user experience for the clients. The result of this was that they were losing valuable data, because every time that client came to an event, there was a reach into the company and an interest in further services. And they didn't have a full detailed record about that client. And sometimes the paper-based records would take weeks to synchronize back into their main Salesforce instance, because someone would have to sit down and type it all in. And there were transcription errors and typographical errors and all that sort of thing, resulting in not a great user experience. The other example was that the user would then leave that event and not get a follow-up for many weeks afterwards, because there was no triggered data beyond the person came to the event that was available for the client until all of the full information about that client was plugged in. So what we built for them was a mobile-based application that ran on a tablet. The client would arrive, they would look up that client record within the system. All the current details of the client would be there, including all of the products they've bought. And then it just became a very quick validation process of saying, do you still own these products? Is there anything else you've bought in the meantime that you want us to look at? Let's get your client record up to date. This resulted in a massive increase in valid client data within their marketing system. It also meant that by the time the client left that event, they had already received the follow-up email to book them in for the next one, and had already received any valid marketing emails based on their previous purchase and transaction history, allowing the company to upsell that client and generate more revenue straight away while the client's hot, while that product is at the forefront of the client's mind. It also enabled another aspect, which was at the events themselves, previously with a paper-based system, if everyone's been to an event, you know how it goes. You know, the last thing you want to do is fill out the form. So these forms weren't getting filled out completely. Many parts were getting skipped and stopped, and that was resulting in an incomplete picture across the entire client base. Some clients had a valid phone number, some clients had a valid email, so on and so forth. Some clients showed what products they had, some clients didn't. There were some postal addresses and so forth. So what this app allowed us to do was help our customer make sure that their customers were giving the required information, and that the sales team and support team that were at the events were able to collect that information with no gaps. So this was a very successful launch, and that client is now using that Australia-wide and are doing further work on it as we speak to expand further. And it's a great example of how Heroku Connect can enable that instant transfer of information from an event-based situation straight into the platform. It should also be noted that these events were held in random locations. So the point of sale system that we built, or the membership system that we built, ran on an iPad, and that iPad had just mobile data, which meant that no matter where they held the event, be it in the middle of the Sydney CBD with great Wi-Fi or out in the back suburbs of Ballarat, they were still able to run that event just as effectively if it was in their office, because everything was built in a secure manner based on the mobile data network and the Heroku platform, which encrypted the channel and got all of that data into the platform. So very useful situation. The next one I want to discuss is a front-end interface. So this was a client who created a platform within Salesforce, and that platform ran their business. So that business was run in such a way that they would onboard a client, they would put the data about the client into Salesforce, and it just built that whole system for them. And it was something that they used internally to help deliver their services to their clients. And you can think about this, for example, say with a professional services company, the Salesforce platform would onboard the client. There would be rules and processes and ways through the Salesforce platform that client would then progress, receiving a proposal, going on to the end product, getting the product delivered, storing that data in there, and so forth. This was built very quickly within Salesforce and allowed the client to launch much faster than if they'd sat down and built a custom system from scratch. And this was a very valid way to launch that product. And you might have a situation in your company where there is a type of business process that needs to be implemented, that could be implemented using the flows and rules of Salesforce in a very rapid manner without the need for programming and so forth, and let that grow, knowing that at one point you could then expand on it, which is what this client did. They approached us with their Salesforce account executive and showed us the problem. And the problem was that they built these dashboards and systems within Salesforce showing data. However, there was a restricted amount of customization that they could do on that, and they didn't necessarily want to create a Salesforce login for every client they had, because obviously they weren't meant to get access to the rest of the client data. So there was an efficiency play here to figure out how they could deliver exactly what the client wanted. Also, the clients were starting to ask for features which, while they could have been done within Salesforce, was just not the most efficient way forward in terms of building out a mobile solution and other solutions. So what we did was we built a front end on the Heroku platform using Heroku Connect, and that connected back into their Salesforce instances on Sales Cloud and Support Cloud to pull in the data that they needed and deliver that to the customer. It also provided them with ability to cache that data to provide a very fast response time so that clients weren't waiting for load screens or data to be loaded up at any time. And it also allowed them to add features into the system which didn't necessarily need to talk back to Salesforce. So, for example, location data of when and where a person logged in, and basing information and workflows on that location data and the screens and how they looked to the customer when they signed in. So what we would do is we'd gather all that data within the Heroku platform, and then we'd send summary data back to the Salesforce instance. So the front-end instance sat on top of the Ruby on Rails platform, and actually we've just got a question about that. The question was, for the front-end interface, they're using JavaScript framework with Rails, either Vue.js or just Action Cable Rails. We can use pretty much anything that's really required by the client, but in this case, it was a Ruby on Rails application. It had a front-end, was just using jQuery and JavaScript on the front end, and had a very nicely designed interface and had all of that set up. But we've done projects with clients who are using React or Angular or any other front-end platform that really is required. But the fundamental part is the Rails part of the business. I hope that answered your question there, Nick. So this platform provided them with that front-end interface. We then also turned that into a mobile version so that their client's client could log in and it provided them with a very customized workflow based on the Salesforce data, and meant that they didn't have to give that access to those customers directly. We also obviously could then extend the mobile and web-based solutions and add more features and add more customization to that company, and allowed them actually to build entire integration systems to other platforms, all based through the Heroku platform. And finally, because it was a 100% custom build, we can produce a beautifully, fully customized user experience, doing exactly what the customer wanted without compromise. The next project that I want to talk about is an Internet of Things integration. So the Internet of Things integration, we had a client which was rolling out a fleet of IoT devices across the country, and they needed a way to onboard their customers and track the customer's integration with these IoT devices without necessarily trying to figure out how to build an IoT connection straight into their Salesforce data. Because if you've ever worked with Internet of Things, the one truth is that you will be flooded with data. The amount of data that you can pull in from Internet of Things is mind-boggling. We actually have a client that we're talking that has hundreds of IoT devices, and each device has more than 300 metrics that it reports on a per minute basis. So when you're looking at that volume, that's not something that you want to be storing direct in your Sales Cloud or Salesforce instances. So that's something that goes into the Heroku business, and using Heroku Connect forwards that data, the appropriate aggregated data, back into the IoT. So with that in mind, it allows you to go through and create those applications and make sure that you're getting the full data back in from your Internet of Things devices. And that has produced a very beautiful solution for that client. The other advantage that they have is within Salesforce, we can then set up triggers so that within Service Cloud, they can go in and enable and disable devices, reboot them, do all of those sorts of things, and let that data flow back through in the back direction, back down to the Internet of Things cloud, and let that move forward. The other nice thing about the Heroku Connect is it allows you to do that without having to store all of that data within Salesforce, and also avoids you having to hit API limits within Salesforce because Heroku Connect goes straight in. So the last one I think that I'm doing is the data silo connection. So this sort of connection is designed where you've got a company that has, say, a legacy system, a warehousing system, an invoicing system and the like, and you want to be able to get that data up into Salesforce without necessarily paying the developers of that platform to build a dedicated Salesforce connection. So this is something we do quite a lot. We do a lot of integration work for many of our clients. And what Heroku Connect allows you to do is to build a Rails application that sits on Heroku, and then you can build multiple connectors to different data silos from that main Rails application. So that application acts as sort of your gateway between all of your legacy data and the main Salesforce implementation platform. So this gives you a single source of truth with data being centralized in Salesforce. Again, being able to capture that data as it comes in and act on it either through Marketing Cloud or Service Cloud or whatever other part of Salesforce you're using, or even just having that data available so that when your service support reps look at the ticket, they can see that the customer just ordered XYZ product and it's been delivered, so that they can have a knowledgeable communication without wasting the customer's time and continually asking questions. It removes the need for extensive programming costs or alteration costs on the legacy systems. Quite often these developers aren't available, or if they are available, it's a very high development cost to pay for dedicated connections. Instead, what we can do is we can build a Heroku-based Rails application that can talk directly to existing APIs, or even do things like screen scraping or looking at screen logins and simulated user logins to pull the data needed out of that platform and send it back up to Salesforce. It also delays replacement costs of legacy systems. You can defer them because you're able to gather that data and keep importing it up to Salesforce while you're looking for the process of replacing that platform perhaps with a more custom solution or a Salesforce-enabled solution. This greatly increases the return on investment on legacy systems and Salesforce. So in summary, we'll just go through this and then we have time for some more questions if need be. And it looks like we'll finish pretty close to time, so that's fantastic. Ruby on Rails application on Heroku connecting to Salesforce with Heroku Connect. That's what we're offering here. It's a rapid time to market with 100% customized user experience. It gives you maximum use of your customer and business intelligence data. It can remove data silos and get all of your data to be together, getting the full picture. It's secure, scalable, and a stable platform, allowing for any required further expansion. And it's able to be customized to your exact requirements to solve specific needs. So this platform allows you to develop the web and mobile-based applications, gathering all the data that you need, and really integrate in your entire application and your business points of interest or interaction with your customers or back-end data to solidify that into a single source of truth that you can operate on and apply business rules against. This is a very powerful platform when used in that method and really helps you get a high return on investment at an order of magnitude higher than if you developed each of these platforms individually and didn't have them talk to each other. It's a great enabler and definitely gives you a competitive advantage in the marketplace where it has almost become normal for you to call up a support service center and that company or group has no idea who you are or what you do or what you've done with the business. Providing that beautiful customer interaction and reducing the barriers between the various data silos is key to the future success of your company, and that's what we will help you do. So there is an offer and we do have some time for questions. So if anyone has a question, please type it in. So Reinteractive in conjunction with Salesforce are offering a free consultation to review your specific situation and give you some recommendations or ideas on how to proceed to generate maximum return on investment for your Salesforce investment through Ruby on Rails application built on Heroku with Heroku Connect. So you can contact myself or just reply to the email that you received on the webinar, michael@reinteractive.com. Or obviously you can also contact your Salesforce account executive and they will tell you and put you in touch with us. So we can do that. Also, all attendees will receive a posted free physical copybook of the Why Ruby on Rails. If you prefer a PDF copy, just let us know and we'll send that to you. And we'll just be in contact for an address to send that out to. So that's all I've got. We're 5 minutes before the end of the webinar. If there are any questions, I'll stay on the line for a little bit. I think we've answered most of them as I was talking anyway, with the ones that did come up. So if there are any further, please let us know. Otherwise, thank you very much for attending. It's been great having this opportunity to present to you. We have recorded this webinar and it will be published and available if you want to forward this on to other members of your team. And we are, of course, available at any time to answer any questions on how we can move forward from there. So I'd like to thank Mike Meisels for coming along today and leading the first part of this. It was great. And thank you very much, Rochelle, for organising it. And thank you to all the attendees for coming. And we don't have any further questions, so we'll leave off from there. And thank you very much. We'll be in touch soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.